Hey guys, I'm Sophie. I'm a lash tech and educator of 11 years, and this is my YouTube channel. This channel is going to be packed full of information, so whether you're a new beginner, haven't even started, or you are an advanced technician, I'm sure this channel is going to be for you. I have personally been on over 34 lash courses and trained with the best of the best from around the world, and I really do pride myself in my career. So this is everything that I have learnt, condensed and done it in my own little way. And there is no right and wrong in the lash industry. It's all about finding what works for you. So please take what you can, and if it helps you, then amazing. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It really does help me create more time and more content for you viewers. Anyway, stay blessed and enjoy.
Hey guys, so this is exactly how I would style a client's eyes with the eyes open. So first of all, obviously don't look at my drawing skills because I'm no Van Gogh, but goth, I don't know how to say it anyway. So basically all you would do is map with the eyes open. The reason being is because you'd be surprised how far the pupil is over when the eye is opened, when the eye is closed, and this can completely mess up your eye mapping. So, first of all, you want to take the client's eyes and you want to first of all mark section A, which is going to be where the lashes first start on the inner corner. So we're going to draw a dot on the client's eyes. I tend to use the white tattoo pens, which just mark out, or microblading pens, whatever you want to call it, and it just perfectly just goes on the skin just with just a light touch, which is what you want. And then obviously we're going to be marking out where it ends. So this is section B. And then we're going to go for section C, which is directly in the centre, which is your pupil, which is this black dot in the centre, in case anyone doesn't know. And then we're going to map the two sections, which is D1 and D2, which is the start of your iris and the end of your iris, which that's the coloured part, basically. So where this grey layer, I think is called, ends, the white bit. Then, when the client's eyes are closed, we're also going to map out where the brow, the flat part of the brow begins, which is this part. So you can see where the flat part sort of tails off. But we're going to map that up higher, and there's a reason for it. And then we're going to map out where the brow is starting to tail down, which on me, it's here. So you can see it starts to drop down. So we're going to pop that right here. And then the client's going to close her eyes. Obviously, we've already cleansed by this point. So we're literally just going to get the client to close her eyes, and then we're going to map out. So client's going to close her eyes. Obviously, imagine this is eye is shut. And then we're going to be mapping out on our pads. The pads are down, and we're just going to draw little dots. Now, I like to keep things clean. I also like to keep things in line. So if you imagine, I tell all my students, things have got to be sitting in the right angle when they're closed. So when the client opens, you haven't got lashes facing this way, this way, this way. So I always draw the lines in the direction I want the lashes to go. So it's a nice little tip to do when you're a beginner lash tech. So we're going to do the dots this side. So this is where the start of the lashes are. This is B. So we've got A, B. Then we've got our iris, and I'm going to draw a line for that, which is C. Then we're going to go back to our dots. So D1. D2. And then we're going to take into consideration our highest, our drop down of our arch. Notice how I'm doing a line, and the flat part of the brow. Now the reason I do this is because these are the things you've got to take into consideration, okay? So one, the pupil, where it is. Two, the flat part of the brow, because obviously if I was to start putting like a 11mm here, for instance, right? If I put a 10mm here, it's still going to be too far up the brow if the person's got, like for me, I'm quite lucky, I've got a really high positioning brow. But if I had a client who had low positioning brow, then I put a 10mm on the inside, it's just going to flood the inside, and you're not going to get the true look, which is what you want with lashes, to complement the eyes. So what I'd like to do is I like to, from that point on, drop down. And then from this point drop down. I also, when it comes to the pupil, I like to mark that out in this point, because when the client's eyes are closed, say you're doing a cat eye, for instance, Now lots of people will start with a cat eye over all the way here, and they'll just put it on the ends, which is amazing, and it works. But when it comes to like kitten, squirrel, which is obviously off centre, then you could be marking it completely wrong, because you could basically think the pupil is, say for instance, here when the eyes are closed, and it's not, it's here. So when you start putting the longer length all the way over here, when the client's eyes are open, it's going to look more like a kitten and a cat than a squirrel, or whatever you want to call it, natural. I don't know whatever people call it, but squirrel is what I call it. So yeah, this is how I mark. So say for instance then, I know the highest point of the brow, which is here, in this section. So say for instance we're doing a squirrel, since we're talking about squirrels, then I would put my 12 here, and then I would know then from then on I need to tail off. So I would do a 12 here, but obviously from this section on, I need to start tailing off, because that's where it's starting to drop down. So I'd do 11, 10 and 9, probably sneak in a little 8 on the end there, just to be, you know, just for it to flow. Then we'd go at 11, 10, and then I know that from this section on I need to really start to tail off, because obviously this is the very inner part. So I'd go 9 here, 8, 7, 6, 5. I always like to work with at least 5 lengths minimum, because I hate it when you can see lashes and they've been perfectly done, but they just look like they've come to a halt. Like you've just looked like you've stopped. It should be a lovely transition, a nice tailored finish. And the only way you're going to get that is obviously by dropping down to at least 5 different lengths. So whatever your highest length, 5 lengths from that. Hope this makes sense. Let me know in the comments if this helped you, and thank you for watching.